So we've got teams in the NFL that are trying to figure out what the plan is moving forward. The New York Jets just decided we're going to go ahead and get rid of our head coach. He's got to go. Meanwhile, the Las Vegas Raiders, they've identified one of their big issues, and one of their big issues is quarterback. Gardner Minshew, apparently he's the problem. Aiden O'Connell will be the starter now. So, LaVar,
I know how Q feels about it. So we'll let Q have it.
Well, I just want to know what Antonio Pierce told you about the decision.
Yeah, VAR, you never like leading off, huh?
No, I don't.
You like seeing the pitcher get a batter in, then you like going up there and going.
I just like to hear what you have to say. You know?
I mean, I guess what I'd have to say is I'm not as close with the head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders.
Me neither.
You're closer than I am.
Yeah, probably so. Yeah, that's true. I don't talk to him about these affairs.
I will simply say this, just so we can get to you.
Yes.
I don't know how this changes their fortune. I don't know how this changes anything for them. I think Antonio Pierce is in a tough spot. I think this team's in a tough spot. They didn't address the quarterback position the way they should have in the offseason, and that's why they are where they are. But I do find it a bit comical. There's a report that came out that said they were going to have a quarterback competition in practice. And so apparently Aiden O'Connell won the quarterback competition in practice, I guess. I don't know.
I mean,
I think the first point is the best point. Is that they're in a very compromising – the coach is in a compromising position. The team is in a compromising position because you don't have, in my estimation, I think it's bigger – again, I think it's bigger than the quarterback's position. I think that they're in need of more altogether as a team personnel-wise. And that's the compromising position that they're in, is that it's going to take time to put it together, to gel it together. And my biggest question is, does AP get enough time to see that through, or is it looked at and discussed as though he's not the person for the job, and then they bring somebody else in, and then you have to say that becomes the question for the new guy that comes in, because the problem, just like the quarterback issue not being addressed or not being changed by whichever one is starting, neither does changing the head coach. Whoever comes in there or him currently at head coach, there has to be an assertive effort to improve this team personnel-wise in order for them to take us, especially being in the AFC West. That's my take on it. I mean, I don't think O'Connell or Minshew, I don't think they rectify the situation. And once again, it's kind of, if I'm being honest, it kind of continues the theme. It's one of those organizations that's been in disarray. It's one of those organizations that has had a culture that isn't conducive towards having great success. It's been a long, long time. And so to me, can Antonio Pierce, with the group of people he's brought in there to help assist him and consult him, can they turn the culture of the Las Vegas Raiders, can they turn it around? And can they turn it around in enough time where he's able to maintain his job? I think that's the biggest question.
They just always feel like they're in this perpetual state of no man's land, to where they're not good enough to be a legitimate playoff contender or Super Bowl threat, and they're not bad enough to get a high enough draft pick to get a really good quarterback. Because obviously they would have loved to have had Jaden Daniels. They would have loved to have had Michael Penix Jr.
Sure.
And then they just were picking too far back. And it's almost like, if you guys could just suck a little bit more, maybe you'd have an opportunity at one of these guys. And the fan base is still scrambling and looking for answers. But it goes back to, and we tried to tell Roberto when he was here, you're going to miss Derek Carr when he's gone. You're going to miss him when he's gone.
No, don't go at Berto like that. Don't do that. I got to defend Berto on this one.
He's not here to defend himself.
If Derek Carr's still there.
That's the type of dude you are, though, Jonas.
Well, no, if Derek Carr's still there.
I mean, in my defense, it was Roberto who was attacking me for making those claims that he would miss Derek Carr. So yeah. Jonas is only echoing what I told Roberto.
That is very true.
Look, if Roberto had his choice, there would be no one on the field, no one coaching, because he would tell them to fire their ass or bench their ass.
The only time Birdo talks to us is after the Raiders games, or during them, or right before them. That's the only time he talks, at least to me.
I talked to him last night.
There you go. Exactly.
He invited me out to an Oktoberfest drink thing.
Exactly. You know
no
what?
way.
Birds
really.
of a feather flock together.
Of all the people he would have thought.
Hey, Lee,
to
has
invite.
anyone invited you to anything where there wasn't drinking involved?
Well, what involves not drinking? I don't know.
Dang.
I mean, driving, Lee. Driving involves not drinking.
I mean, I invited him
Who
to a
invites people
pre-game.
driving?
I invited him
Usually
to
we
a
have to go
walkthrough
somewhere,
practice. There's no drinking there.
Yeah, but
But we were fried. Yeah, we were fried while we were there, though.
Or there was before.
We were fried. So there is that.
And also I would say that if Derek Carr was still there, then we're probably not having these issues with Davante Adams. Antonio Pierce.
I don't know. Weren't the issues bubbling up while he was still there that he might not want to be there?
No.
Yes.
Carr was gone, and then Josh McDaniels was the problem. For
That's
Davante
correct. There you
Adams.
go. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Yeah, that's true.
So Antonio Pierce discussed the status of Davante Adams yesterday. It sounded like this.
On the Davante Adams situation, and how quickly do you want to get a resolution to this so you can kind of move on?
Well, the update, Davante's doing well. Hamstring's getting there. He's getting closer and closer to get back on the field, on the practice field, and good spirits. We talked, so everything's good.
Do you see any scenario where he can return to the Raiders?
He's still a Raider. He's never not been a Raider.
Yeah, actually playing a game for the Raiders.
He's still a Raider. When he's healthy and he can play, we'll play him. He's just not healthy right now. And he's getting closer, though. That's the good part. He's working every day to get that hamstrings right. He's in the right headspace mentally. Like I said, we talked recently and had a good conversation. And he's ready to play football.
Has he been rehabbing here at the facility, Antonio?
Yes.
Have you seen him here?
He seems a little over it.
There seems to be a chance
That he can
as the
still play.
reporter was trying to point out, that when he is back 100% healthy, it may just coincide with the trade. It may just be where he is back 100% healthy, just not practicing and playing for the Raiders. It would make sense if he wants to be traded, and it just so happens that hamstring magically is repaired and he's healthy, but it's just in time for a trade. That would make a lot of sense.
Purely coincidental.
It would also make sense if he doesn't, because he has been connected to injury in the past, that if they're trying to actively trade him and he's aware of the fact that maybe the asking price is too high, that he needs to get his ass back on the field and play so that his value doesn't plummet or torpedo through the floor. That could have been just understanding how the landscape all works.
Well, I guess why does he care about his value? He's getting paid regardless.
He is getting paid regardless, but if I look at it like this, beyond this season, if you want to try to get up out of there, keep playing. Continue to keep playing. Try to raise your value, show that you want to continue to play. I know NBA guys do it, but I just think that if you can't get a trade, if there's no trade in sight, like I tell you, there is no trade in sight. So do you want to try to play out a hamstring injury for the rest of the season, or do you want to get out here and play and try to keep your value up? That's, to me, that's how I would be looking
Nico
at
Collins just went on IR for a hamstring injury. But I would say this. Here's the problem with all that is, Davante's age plays a factor too, and his injury history, which you mentioned. So there's also the other side of, like, are you going to go out there and keep playing, risk injury, and the potential of, that trade value diminishing altogether because you get injured again, or being more, diminishing goods at your age.
Dang.
So it's to me, it's more on the Raiders of, like, well, you didn't trade up when you should have to get a quarterback. Now you've got Davante Adams. You've got a trade deadline. It's not that soon, but it's coming. And if you want to give a team that is looking for a wide receiver, whether it's the Jets, Saints, Bills, whoever you want to throw in the conversation,
You got to give him.
if you want to get a deal done, get a deal done. Because otherwise, if you wait till after the season, he's a year older. He's already through another season. It's not going to drive up the value for him. And there's going to be receivers that come into the draft. There's going to be free agent wide receivers that you're in competition with. Right now is arguably the best time for the Raiders to try to get something back in return. And unfortunately, it's probably going to be like a third and a fifth or sixth. That's probably what it's going to come down to.
There's a better chance he plays for the Las Vegas Aces this year than he does the Raiders again.
Well, at least
It's
he'd be
over.
winning.
It is. Yeah, that's true. That is true. It is over for him in Las Vegas. But we do have updated odds. Do we have any game show gambling music we can play for these updated Davante Adams next destination trade odds here?
This is the best game show music song, too, by the way.
You think so?
No, hell no.
Yeah. Damn. Sheesh.
He said, hell no.
Hell no.
All right, so where do we want to see? You guys want to throw a team out and see what the betting odds are, courtesy of our friends at DraftKings? The updated spot will go one at a time. Kind of can take turns.
Can I
here.
have the first one?
Who you want?
The New York Jets.
Hey, they are the favorite.
I'm
Minus
going to go
200.
with the Saints, Jonas.
Yeah, the Saints plus 800. There's a team that's actually more favored than the Saints, with better odds than the New Orleans, or shorter odds, I should say, than the New Orleans Saints.
Shorter odds than the New Orleans Saints.
Buffalo Bills.
The Buffalo Bills are 10-1.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Now, it should be pointed out here that the description and the details on this on these odds on DraftKings are which team he takes his first snap with, Davante Adams does, after the NFL trade deadline.
All right, let's think
are
about
the Raiders in the mix
yes,
then?
they are. The Raiders
There we
are
go.
in the mix at
There we
plus
go.
300.
It's so
3-1.
funny.
That's where he
'cause
got
I was
us.
going to say the Raiders.
Yeah.
That's where he tries
I
to get
was
us,
going
though.
to say the
It was
Raiders.
a bit of a trick question.
But I was right because I was going to be like, that was like rhetoric, or rhetorically speaking, if I would have said the Raiders.
He's not. Why would they
or,
risk?
or even being, kind of sarcastic. I was going to say the Raiders.
Okay,
but,
even if they look at it and go, well, if he's injured, his trade value, we can't get a 3 for him. We can only get a 4. It's like, just get what you can get. Like, if he wants to be gone and you want to move on, then move on.
What about
Washington?
I was about to say, what about the Commanders? Because
They're
they were going
Commandos.
after Ayuk.
They are not listed here.
Oh, no.
Not
What about
listed.
Pittsburgh? Pittsburgh?
Not listed here. It
Those
only
are the
shows
teams
a
I
wanted
handful of
Ayuk.
teams. It's interesting,
Chiefs?
though. The Chiefs are
Chiefs
way
could
down.
be an interesting one.
Way down.
That would be an interesting place for them to go, though.
But what was
Baltimore?
What's interesting about it is that
let's
Who
go
the
through
hell
all
is
of
on
them.
your list, Jonas?
okay, so the odds 2 days ago
2 days.
were the Jets at minus 150.
Okay, one.
I don't know if the Robert Saleh firing had anything to do with it, but they've now gone to minus 200 on
Damn.
that. And so some of the teams have kind of fallen out
Okay,
of the mix.
2 being the Raiders.
So a couple of days ago, before the Robert Saleh firing,
It's taking so long to get to this.
I know. Can you just give us
well,
the
I'm letting
freaking
you guys
list?
know because the odds
Get us the
change.
odds,
Give us
dude.
a list, and then we can go through that.
Do you want the most recent or the ones previous to that?
Most recent.
What's
Today,
most
like
recent?
right
Like,
now.
give us the what
Like
date
up-
is the most
like
recent?
right now.
Most recent, Jets minus 200, Raiders plus 300,
Okay.
Baltimore Ravens plus 400.
There you go.
We
There's
said
your
Baltimore.
Ravens. There's your Ravens.
Yes.
There you go. Come on.
Saints plus 800.
Okay.
Said Saints.
And the Bills 10-1.
We said the Bills.
Yeah.
The Bills could really use a
See, when you
receiver.
said Bills at 10-1, you didn't say that they're the fourth best team.
You didn't say that. You said it like it was really way down there. Like,
Yeah,
oh,
you're
they're
like, no, it's 10-1. 10-1.
They're 10 to
Man.
1.
Well, listen, I'm hosting this game show. I can say whatever the hell I want.
Damn.
Yeah, this explains
That's
a
the
lot.
off-air Jonas. I know.
Yeah. So it's why you never got that Price is Right job.
Damn!
That's what happened.
Son of a bitch.
And, based on... Never mind, I'm going to leave that alone.
Yeah, no. Based on what?
Based on,
Say how you feel.
Based
Based on
on some people that have hosted that show. That's a job you want. It just depends on a lot of stuff out there. By the way, the Steelers were once a part of this list. They have now seemingly
We mentioned
fallen
them.
off.
Mentioned them.
Yeah, they've fallen off.
I mean, we mentioned every possible team. I mean, the Cowboys, we throw the Cowboys in there because Lord knows that Dallas is always throwing these things.
A couple of days ago, they were there at 14-1.
There you go. See, like, by the way,
It's such crap. They throw
there's
them in
no
there.
reason to go after, but I mean, because of injuries to Cooks, but
That's just it's draft. It's not just DraftKings. Everybody does that. They'll throw the Cowboys in there because it'll generate a conversation around it. That's all it is. Like, there's no chance the Cowboys are going to make a move for him. So, it is interesting though that after the firing, the odds for the Jets increased Went up from minus 150 to minus 200.
That is interesting.
Maybe Woody Johnson's desperate enough to where he's like, all right, I've made this big splash move. Now I'm going to go all in. And if it's not going to be this year, it's not going to be any year. And maybe they bring in Davante Adams that way. So who knows? But point is, he ain't playing for the Raiders again. We can pretty much guarantee that.